Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, much love to all of you. We have another week, right? Another week of value. You guys know every Monday night at this time, we host a session so that every single person here and in the future, you guys can get to know some of the best traders out here. But most importantly, the perspective, the experience, the mistakes, the failures, and we're definitely going to go into those. But just, I think, one thing that you just can't get anywhere else is experience. And that's kind of the best thing. And that's why, Ricky and I really wanted to have this conversation with y'all today, was because there's certain things that you can't learn from a book. You can't learn from a chart. You have to go through them. And those are some of the conversations that we want to have today with all of y'all. So I appreciate everybody here for being on. I know we've had different people hosting the last couple of weeks, but I know today I'm really, really stoked because I haven't had a call with Ricky in a minute. And so before we dive into the nuggets, bro, and the value and the gems, I wanna kind of bring you up to here because I know some people here, they might not be exposed to the legend, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ricky Valdez.
We have a lot of new faces on here.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro. It's beautiful. So guys, if you're not familiar with Ricky, this is somebody that, man, we go way back. We actually traded together on the company's first app, the one and only at one point, Swipe Trades. And that's kind of where we really got to build a good rapport, good relationship. And one of the things that I admire about Ricky the most is his level of level-headedness. Like, he's super calm, very poised, very collected, stoic, if you will. And a lot of you, especially if you've been here with trading with us since 2018, 2019, especially, y'all got to experience that. The chillest, absolutely the chillest. And let me know in the chat if you've been trading since 2019. And I mean, Ricky, you've been in the game for a minute, man. And you were brought in by one of the first people that were in the company. But I remember the splash that you made coming into in sharing trade ideas with the community. It was pretty wild. Correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but you went 12-0 to start the trade ideas career, right?
Somewhere around there. I honestly, I forgot. It was like 3 or 4 months. I was sending 2 trades a week, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, I was like probably a little bit more actually.
And I remember, like, because obviously, like, and I'll give you all a background story. We'll get into the story of how kind of those things happened. But for everybody here, Ricky's someone who you've been trading since what, 2016?
26. Well, I found out about trading in 2016 actually.
So you've been
2017 is when I actually was learning something.
There's a difference, right? There's a big difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, you're someone who's walked it like they talk it. And that's something I really love about you, bro, is it's never been, shiny object syndrome. It's always been transparent. It's always been authentic. And that's something that I think a lot of people are going to get from this. And this is one of the things that, again, you can't fake, you can't skip that process. But on top of that, you're someone who's led thousands and thousands of people in this. So you've got to hear and see 1,000 different ways of doing things wrong. The beautiful side of being a mentor is that you also kind of go through a lot of learning, like, through other people too, and their mistakes. And so, yeah, man, you're someone that I think has probably some of the most experience, not just because of your own trading, but just witnessing the mistakes other people make and getting that perspective as well. So, bro, thank you, man. Thank you for being on with me here and with the whole community. I know everyone here is about to get blessed with some knowledge, but yeah, bro, if there's anything you want to add before
Mike, thank you, bro. I tune into your session, bro, at least Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'll be on here on my time. It's at 8. So till this day, bro, I'll be getting on your session. So I appreciate everything that you do. Learning till this day. Very grateful. You're a beast on the charts, man. So when you
Appreciate
told
you,
me,
bro.
you mentioned it that you wanted me to come on here, I was like, without a doubt, let's do it. Known you for a minute now, so real recognized real. You know, we remain solid. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, more downs than ups, but the ups were very sweet. Right. And we
Definitely,
need the
man.
downs to really get to the next level. So really grateful through it all. Just grateful to be here. And yeah, man, I'm
Let's
ready
dive in,
whenever
man.
you're ready.
So, all right, guys. I know a lot of you, you're getting this might be the first year, first couple months, maybe it's your first week, but I don't want to bore you guys too much with the past and the details and the story, but we do want to give you guys a little bit of perspective, right? And in order to get things kicked off with that, how have you seen, Ricky? How have you seen kind of the game change compared to how it is now? Like a lot of people right now, the number one question people are going to ask is, "Hey, if you were to do this all over again, what would you do first?" So, what would your answer be to that?
All right, so I want to just put some context into it. All right, so we're talking about now, today, 2023 versus before 2018, 2019, because there is kind of like I've been in the game for so long that it's like every year is some type of like this
Yeah.
shiny object, this brand new shiny object, or
Mhm.
this year everybody thinks that this is this, and then like 2 years later we're like, well, we tried telling you it's not, So which before year, so we can so I could really or maybe you just from this year to this year compared to now, a lot of things changed after COVID as well. So
Yeah, big time, big time. Did you? All right, cool. I'm good. I thought I lost you for a second.
no, you're
But
good.
so to go into it, man, there's a lot of people that are experiencing the first couple months, and go back to your first couple months, bro. Like I remember when I started, I had a really good first week. Like my first week trading was amazing, and so immediately I thought that the numbers were gonna happen real quick. Um, so what can you enlighten some of our
Yeah,
people here? Like,
definitely. My first experience actually was the person who sponsored me in IM got on a random webinar. My sponsor was a random person to me at the time from Facebook, not somebody I know, not somebody I knew before, somebody who probably could have took my money if he wanted to be honest, how people be nowadays, but blind faith, obviously. And so that person, I mean, you know who he is. We'll talk about him right now. But I saw him trade NFP. We're traders here. It's a trading call. Yeah, perfect. I saw him trade NFP, USD CAD, and in 5 minutes, he must have made what I probably wish I made. It was, I mean, it was like a 5-figure income in like 5 minutes.
yeah.
That was my first ever experience to trading. But that's how I got introduced to trading, actually. And then we didn't even have IM until a year later, actually. A year later from that, because that was 2016. I started in IM February 14, 17, something around there, 2017.
Yeah.
And that first year, I didn't understand anything. I lost every single dollar. I might have lost $2,000. But after COVID, money's different. Before COVID, money was different. $2,000 for me in 2017 was a lot. I used to be a server. I used to wait tables at a restaurant. That's my background, right?
I was a
College
barback.
degree. You're a barback.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't wish that on anybody, right? But it just goes to show that it doesn't really matter where you come from, what titles you got, who, at this point, I've seen people who are underqualified just get elevated by God, and you never really know. So I didn't understand anything. We didn't even have a platform, educational platform. I didn't have IM in 2016 when I found out
Mm-hmm.
about trading. It was just taking some trades from the person that brought me in, and just figuring it out along the way. But there was a thought that always kept me going. I would lose $100, And then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna make the next one back. All right, $100 was a lot. That was a whole shift for me. That was a whole 8 hours before. I was just like, after some time, I had tallied up my MT4, and there was $1,800 lost, somewhere around there. But this thought always kept it in my head. Maybe it helped somebody. Hopefully, I was like, you know what? I might have lost this, but one trade can get me all back. I just always had that faith and had that hope that like one day I'll throw a standard and it'll be a good day back to back. I'll catch 100 pips on each trade. I'll make it all back. That was like, I would pray and hope, but it was because we didn't have no education, nothing like that. And then in 2017, yeah, go ahead.
I remember how like, man, when I started, I just remember a standard, like dropping a standard was like the coolest, like you made it. Like when you could drop a standard on, one lot in your trading account, it was like, oh, okay, like levels. Now the game's a little different, right? People have access to different types of capital and things like that. But at the time where it was only self-funded, I mean, if you did it responsibly, right? Anyone could drop a lot.
I'm very grateful for that. If I was to give a little bit of insight on that actual question that you asked me, a lot of people have so many options. It was not having options that probably made me find a way for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we done chairman 25. I hit the rank, hit a chairman 25 rank, but I was also trading on the app, hit some great trades. But before, like I was on swipe trades undefeated, then I hit chairman 10, and then 2 years later, chairman 25, right? So trader, builder, if you want to do both, you could do both. I was doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
But the point of it was that it was because there was not many ways that it really forced me to make a way. It was so important. That part of my process was so important. Now, it's like people have so many options. There's so many ways to create it, which is good. It's great. That's an amazing thing for sure, 100%. But if, people ask me all the time, like, well, how did you actually get to that chairman rank? And how did you actually do well in trading? But it was like, the harder the struggle, the more ready you get. So the harder you have in that process, right? The bigger the payoff. Or I believe in God is like, the more God sees you struggle, the more tests you pass at the bottom. When it's time for you to get to a higher level, you can handle more. You could deal with more. It's like the more pain, the more you could deal with. The more struggle, the more you can handle. So today's world is great and cool and funded this and funded that, but I'd rather have it the other way than really this way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with today's world in the funding and all that crazy stuff. Just know that if it gets hard, it's good. Building you up, building your character. A lot of people now, they see like difficulty, they see hard, or whatever word you want to use, as a wall. And then they treat it as, this is a wall and this wall is here for a reason. I got to go the other way. Back then, though, it's like, no, we're smashing through the wall.
Yeah.
That's what really got me to those levels, the chairman level, the higher chairman level, the trader level, sending signals. I mean, that was crazy on its own. It was nuts. It was God.
I want to reverse engineer some of the things that you talked about. There's a couple of things that you already said that I think does need to be kind of, unpacked. And I actually want to go over the first thing that you said was kind of the way you got introduced to trading was big. Like you saw the big numbers from somebody else and they were real. For me, I saw $40 and I was like, oh my God, let's do it, But you saw what people dream about off the rip. How did that influence like your approach to trading that first 6 months, a year? Were you going for like the big winners all the time? Like, did you kind of think that's what it would look like? Or did you kind of know, okay, that's actually not realistic?
Well, one thing to be understood for sure, I do believe that God has given me the ability to understand things different than people. I ask God for guidance all the time. This is something great for everybody to understand, like every day, right? And in the beginning, your bad habits will want to get, they'll want to spill into the picture. When I found out about trading, I was 23, but at 18, I was introduced to personal development. And so from 18 till 23, when I saw 22, 23, when I saw trading, my life was like no partying, no foolishness, nothing like that. It was like all growth.
Yeah.
It was all growth. So I'd read a book like the book of the month. I would always listen to audios. Still to this day, I do that. So when I came into trading, I was able to understand and recognize and distinguish that, hey, this person has been doing this for some time now. And all I needed to see what that it was possible, but also understanding that that probably might not be what happens to me right now.
Yeah.
But I got big goals and big dreams. And I was like, man, as long as he made that, like if he can make that, one day I'll make that. Mm-hmm. So I could see where people can go sideways with like having the expectations to make that right from the start. But I'm grateful for the personal growth that I did because, and God obviously, but it allowed me to have that understanding.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, it was my sponsor making that money in front of me that really kept me in the game. Yeah. Because I was like, if I've lost 2,000, I can make it back in 2 days. I can make it back. I'm gonna throw the standard. And so I utilized that in the right perspective.
Yeah. And I want to give you guys I guess my take on what his experience was is you came into this road developing in like you were already under construction intentionally. A lot of us maybe don't, sometimes like trading is what opens up a door to personal development, to being a bit more intentional with your thinking, looking at money a little bit differently for the first time. So if that's the case, and that's all right, that's totally fine. But just realize some of the lessons might come later than it for other people. And that's just all right. Like that's just how it goes.
Yeah, it was a process. It was tough, man.
Now, you said something how before, you got into building your own business, creating cash flow outside of, being a busser and just, normal job. How important was like financially kind of planning for you and being a trader and doing that? Like, did you have the classic like quits job to trade full time too early type of scenario, or were you already kind of financially responsible? Because that's what I think kills a lot of trading careers.
Yeah,
is you just kind of over leverage.
Yeah. Fun fact: I don't think I even really. Well, maybe I know that I saw a few people in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Been following everybody that recognizes me for a bit now. So much love to you guys. Take risks. It might sound, you might not understand why I'm telling you this, but let me elaborate. When I came to IM, it wasn't my first time doing business. It wasn't my first time involving in business. It wasn't my first book, wasn't my first audio. It wasn't my first growth. I always took risks from the moment that I was eligible to do business in the United States, 18 years old, right? I was always trying something. Like I failed so many times before. It was 5 years. It was 18, 19, 20, 21. I came into IM 2017. I was about to be 23 years old. I had 5 years of failing in other things, learning, reading, growing, right? Developing my faith, all that. But at the same time, trying as many things out responsibly. I wouldn't just jump to things. I'd give it everything I got. And then I'd realize this is not a moving part. So I got to see what else is really out there.
Yeah.
So that really held me through. I came into this and I was just like, I'm going to trust the process. If this is where I'm going to be, we'll see some type of flourishing. But I really trusted the process. Ask me the question again exactly.
just how important was financially planning?
Yeah, the job part. I
Yeah.
had a job, so this is where I was gonna get at. Actually, I had a job and I was a server. I chose server jobs. I'll tell you why eventually. I don't know. I just chose server jobs, right? It was like to serve. I mean, I thought I was just making more money in an hour and like by tips, but it was actually teaching me serve the masses. You know, it was pretty crazy, like revelations later on. But you need that job though.
Yeah, you need
You
that
need
cash
that
flow.
job. I had joined this company, this networking company, and then like I hit this rank. They told me I was gonna make like 2-3 thousand a month. This is like 2014, right? And this is where I realized that. And so I signed up, hit the rank, whatever, was on fire. They said I was gonna get paid, quit my job, and then proceeded to struggle for like 2 years with that company and barely making a way. Put it like this: my sponsor, my sponsor had to walk into my job to try to embarrass me to get me to quit my job. He flew from New York to El Paso to
Yeah.
get me to quit my job because it was time to quit that job. Like I
Right.
already was. This was like almost. I was almost about to be chairman, right?
Mhm.
Still being a server, but I was that like scared to jump,
Because
to
you
the
already
point
went
where,
through that process of like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
barely being able to make it. So
because I quit my job. So I understood having a job is necessary, and it almost hindered me. This is why I'm so close to my sponsor, because he could kind of see we know he's hit a huge rank in the company. And he saw it, but he was like, "It's time to jump. I'm gonna force you." He flew, and then he like tried embarrassing me in front of my boss. But as soon as I saw him walk in, I was like, you know what? Excuse my language. I was like, you know what? Shoot, this is my last day here because
yeah.
this is not gonna end well if I don't quit. So get yourself a good sponsor, and if you don't have a good sponsor, become that good sponsor.
No,
But
that's
you
good,
need the
man. That's
job. It's so important. You need the job. You need a job. You need funding. You need to understand just a little small key. You need to understand how to trade money for time so that you appreciate when you're trading money for money. It's so
big
simple to be
facts.
pressing buttons up and down when you got the skill and stuff like that you almost really take it for granted. But when you realize that it takes 60 minutes to make like $20 for most people, or who knows what people are making, right? But
Yeah.
it's like, shoot, I
Man,
really got to take this dollar serious.
there's a lot of things that I think, obviously I think where you gotten so far, and I know for you it's just, a blip in the timeline too, because you got big goals, but there's a lot of things that, just came together, whether it's choosing the right people, to push you along, knowing when it was time to take that leap of faith, also knowing when it's too early to take a leap of faith, and kind of getting that from prior experiences. And so, I mean, also if just take it from me, guys, and from what Ricky's done, there's definitely moments when it's too early. There's definitely moments where
Yeah.
you're over your head, and also you just don't have enough experience. And so there's just like it's a weird thing in the world where it's 9 to 5 is the best way. Then there's the 9 to 5 is the worst thing possible. The job is the worst thing. Like quit all that. And it's not that black and white. I think as long as you have an intention of building something outside of a work, and it's something that you have ownership over, that produces for you, that is leading you towards some type of the freedoms that you want, that's what you want. You want fixed income until you can afford not to have fixed income because you have a plan. And
Yeah.
so I think those are the things, like I wanted to just set the tone straight, because there's a lot of times when people get into entrepreneurship where it's all of a sudden there's this sense of negativity towards a job. And on top of that, sometimes we feel like we're above it, which I believe everyone deserves to be free, but you have to earn that right. You have to earn the right to be free, to have the things that you want, to live the experiences that you want to live, and also not like being strangled financially at the same time. Um, but yeah, man, that's cool. That's a good
Yeah. I
perspective.
mean, really, if you think about it, I hit chairman in 2 years. I was also on swipe trades after 2 years, but that was 7 years of full entrepreneurship though.
Mhm.
18 to 23. So this is how it was from 18. You're recording this, right? All right. So that 6-figure income, I didn't even get it until I was 25. So from 18 to 25, every single day I was going hard. But from 18 to 23, I hadn't even found IM. So when I came to IM at 23 years old, then hit chairman, and then I was catching trading bags already. I already had 5 years of growth, 5 years of lessons, and then plus the 2 years of growth and the 2 years of lesson itself within the company.
Yeah.
So it was a total of like, yeah, I hit chairman and did cool in trading and everything, but it was after 7 years though.
And I do want to add to is the
People only
level
saw 2 years though.
The level
Right.
of intensity in that time, because time can go by. Like I one time I tried to sell a t-shirt at 18. That doesn't mean I've been an entrepreneur for all this time. You know what I mean? So it's what was the quality of entrepreneurship and experience in that time? And it's from what it sounds like, you were just like constantly at it.
For sure, I can tell you this. I want to answer your question. If I was to do it all over again, how would I do it? I done that. I had that mentality coming into IM actually. But for the first 5 years, since I was 18 to 23 pre-IM, it was like just growth, intentional learning, intentional growth. But I didn't have a set plan of attack. I didn't have a set plan of action. You get me? And then I found IM when I was 23. That's when I had a plan of attack. That's when I had a plan of action, which was the compensation plan, doing events, the basics of networking, and then figuring out trading and all that. But in those 2 years, to give you the two answers, in the 2 years, 2017 to 2018, and then 2018 to 2019, my thought was this: if I was to do it all over again, what would I do? I said, believe much bigger, much sooner, and compress timeframes. And so the great Holton Bugs, right, inspired me. If you don't know who Holton Bugs is, study him for networking. Then when I started in 2017, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm going to get a plan. I'm going to see what everybody has to teach me. But as soon as I learn it, I'm going to apply it. So I would learn it, apply it, learn it, apply it, like the next hour, like learn it, apply it, learn, apply it. I see we would do webinars and people would like still be wondering what to do. That was not me. I had to figure out a way to apply it. Like as soon as I learned it, as soon as I would apply it, as soon as I learned it, as soon as I would apply it. And in those 2 years, I had a philosophy, and I still do. But back then it was different because I was hella hungry, right? It was compressed time frames. What it takes somebody to do in 5 years, can I do it in 2 years? What it takes somebody to do in 10 years, can I do it in 2 years? Because the work, I mean, you could take 7 days to do a job if you're working 5 hours a day. But if I'm working 12, 15 hours a day, how fast can I get that job done? So that was my philosophy. So I was having those 20-hour days for 2 years. And even after that too, because after COVID, it was even crazier, right? So
yeah, you had to
believe as big as possible. And then I compress time frames. I work different than everybody. Obviously, the result doesn't lie, but it's easy to say it, but it's like I can tell everybody in this call like I worked. But if you actually saw me work when it was happening, you would be like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, is this guy crazy or something?
Oh man.
But I was just like, I was in that flow, it was like, I gotta go hard. I'm all in. I never looked nowhere, never looked at no company, never saw anything else. I was locked in, laser focused with my people, with the group. You couldn't stray me off the path, no party, no girls, no nothing, no. All that stuff came to like later.
Focus.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And one thing, man, that you said really was obviously compressing timeframes, which is, everything, but it's about the quality of experience that you're putting into it. Like you didn't allow a 5 year, okay, they people do it in 5. It was more so like, okay, how can I compress everything?
It's because I made a decision. It's not when you start, it's when you make the decision. It's just like a decision you make in your head, and you're like, from here on out is where it really begins. Everything before this was just like a warm-up, if anything. So that's probably why
a lot of this comes down to just really knowing what you have. Like, I think sometimes people get into entrepreneurship, into trading, and it's like, oh, this is cool, you know, but we've almost haven't bought completely into the idea of, no, this is something that definitely can give me the lifestyle that I want, with the requirements that you actually do the things, right?
Yeah.
And man, every single person that I've had on this has said one thing in common, and it's the amount of time they spend learning is very little compared to what they go and do. And I think a lot of people get stuck in the learning, the reading, the videos, and just like taking in information and information and information and information, because it feels good in the moment. You know, you're like, wow, I'm learning something different. This is amazing. I had a breakthrough. Oh, look at this nugget and I can share this. But without going and experiencing and doing what you learn, even if it's failing miserably, it's not the same. And so that mindset of like, all right, I got what I needed, even if it's just a smallest amount, let me go and find out what that's like. Let me go and experience it. I think that's honestly such a big, like it's something that is very common with people with success, is not being afraid to just go experiment with the lesson.
For sure. One thing that I could just probably tell everybody is like, I'm very grateful for my grandmas. They always put me around a faith-based mentality. And if you read the greatest entrepreneurship book called the Bible, every single person in that book that played a major role, it always took like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Jesus, it took 33 years for Jesus to complete his purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's 33 whole years. And so my whole life, I was raised that there is a process to things. You know what I'm saying? There's people who waited 4 years, 80 years, 160 years in the book of the Bible, that it took them that long to complete what God had intended for them, you know? So I'd read these stories. They would read these stories when I was a little kid, you know? So that's also something good. Maybe you want to listen to some pastors or read the book, and it'll help you understand that if you, because one thing is like what you consider success, but I feel like real success is like the purpose that God has for you. So that's how I separate it. Like, if you really want to figure out what your true purpose is, it's just not going to happen overnight. And everything great does take time. It says in the Bible. So just things that help me, along the way, things that help me stay in the game. The mindset is everything.
So speaking of, I guess, just like the word, how has humility helped you in this process?
Oh, everything. When I was not humble, I felt God would strip away things from me. My downfalls came by not having humility. My downs would be triggered by cockiness or getting too ahead of myself, you know, or my plan, not God's plan, or my say, not what God has intended. You know what I mean? So I always keep humility in front, because we're all here waiting for our purpose to be shown to us. And when you get ahead of that plan, that's when God's going to hold you back. And well, how do humans learn? Through pain, you know? So it's like, once you're not humble, once you don't have humility, it's like God's going to be like, okay, you're not learning, or you're not trusting the process.
Let me redirect you
hold
again.
You back. But when he redirects you, you go through pain. That's where the losses come. Because we're humans, we don't learn. No, I'm from a Spanish. No aprendemos, you know what I mean? No entendemos. Like my mom would say, you know what I'm saying?
So there's something called the valley of despair. And this is basically like the difference between your expectations in your journey and like what's actually happening. So the valley of despair is the time where you're not getting what you think you were going to get. And I think as you know, as traders, we create expectations when we start, and sometimes we don't redefine them, right? We don't kind of change, okay, what does it really mean to be successful? What does it really mean to be a winner? So how would you define winning as a trader? Like, what is winning to you as a trader?
Sheesh. It always changes, man, to be honest. It's changed every single year. I want to just piggyback real quick off of what you were saying. That time where you're not seeing the progress, right, versus when you're actually in that place. You know, two things. Sometimes you're just not ready for it, and you have to understand that. So you got to get ready. And other times that thing is not ready for you. So God is getting that thing ready for you. So it's a combination of the thing has to be ready, and then you got to be ready for the thing, and both align.
Got to be in harmony.
Yeah, both align. So if that thing is not ready for you, or you're not ready for that thing, you got to keep growing, learning, trusting, believing, faith, all that good stuff. And so sorry, I completely blanked out. Give me the actual other question
I
from
got you.
actual, what is success, right? You asked me what is success.
How do you define winning as a trader?
Okay, well, closing in profit, technically, number one. Closing in blue. Sometimes you can take profit and end up broke. Actually, it's crazy, huh?
That is definitely true.
Like a real thing, right?
Sure.
Get sniper concepts down and let that winners ride for sure. Sometimes you close too early and you're like, oh, sure. Success to me now. I reached success. I mean, it's not like I'm a multi-millionaire off of trading, but I have a 2-year-old and I get to spend every day with him. That's success. I got the freedom. You know what I'm saying? I got the freedom because in September, I made a decision that I didn't want to be chunky and I wanted to completely transform my body. And from September to April, I lost 30 pounds and I'm about to be 30 years old in the best shape of my life. I got the freedom. That's success. So the freedom and then going to get it is like, the freedom is the success, but you're still going to have to go get something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's success to me personally, because I understand where I came from. I was raised in Mexico, third world country. If you search Juarez in the 2000s, one of the most dangerous cities in the world, that's where I come from. So I understand that, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously you're from, places like that as well, your family, your descendants. So you do understand that. So success is really up to you, but appreciate the important things. I get to raise my son. We hang out. My son knows that I love him. I'm like, every day I'm like, hey, Papa loves you, right? And he's like, he knows. And that's so important.
Gotta be the chillest baby in the world, bro.
Yeah, and he's pretty smart, honestly. But it's because that father figure is there. That's success to me.
And
$1 million is not success to me. We did that. It's all good. The money is.
I ask you this question because we live in an age now where it's a lot of material possessions. In the, I say, digital entrepreneurship landscape, like people want to see material things. And I think when it really comes down to it, like your values have to really shine. And so when you define success for yourself, I think a lot of people are walking around seeing success in a way that's not even their own belief systems. It's everybody else's. It's the way that's been pictured for them. So I wanted to have people who can see it and hear it from someone who's been doing this, who's no newbie to the game, and you've been doing this for as an entrepreneur for over 10 years. So I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that perspective for real.
I mean, to everybody on the call, go get as much money as possible so you realize that is not what's most important. You get me? Like, it's cool for me and you to be like, oh, money's like, not that deep. But we had to get it to understand it.
Yeah.
That's why everybody got to go get it. So you see for yourself that is not the ultimate most important thing. You get me? I mean, if we're talking about money, you lived in some nice places. Every year since 2018, I lived in a penthouse. You know what I'm saying? Like, the material things are cool. But after a while, you start understanding. I mean, I've drove the dream car. I see you got a nice watch that I'm trying to get right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, the
Casio,
materialistic
bro.
things are
That
cool.
Casio.
Yeah. You're funny, bro. But make the money and understand it for yourself. I'm all for money. I'm all to go get the bag. You know, let's all get the bag. That's why I still keep doing I am, to inspire everybody to keep getting the bag. But you will understand that it's not just about the bag. There's been times where my bag has been very high and then my emotions have been very low. And then there's been times where my bag has been a lot lower and my emotion, I've just been so grateful. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I hope that's a good
I think,
definition.
bro, you know how in the Bible it says, like, we're born abundant, like, go get it. It is biblical to have wealth and be abundant. I think for me, it's just make sure that whatever you want to go get is your decision. You know, it's actually something, your own thoughts, something that you genuinely want.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. Like, I love the game.
Yeah.
I love.
I mean, perception is reality on social media. So it's just like, and a lot of people are just, it's so easy to hype things up on social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you get one angle, bro. You only get one angle, so they make it the best one.
At the end of the day, real quick, this is what it comes down to. Just think about this thought. What is the only thing you could take to heaven? You can't take no materialistic things. You guys want to know what one of the only things the only thing you could take to heaven? Other people. So that should be an idea now in your mind that anything materialistic is truly irrelevant to the biggest purpose. Can't take it with you. Only thing you could take is other people. That's why I've stuck around in this company for so long.
I feel like that one hit different. Like when you dropped that, everyone was like,
yeah, purpose, bro. I passed the money part a while back, started focusing on purpose, you know. But I appreciate you for having me on the call.
Nah, bro, appreciate you. You know, guys, as you guys can tell, you know, we took a different approach to this session. Wanted to give you guys a little bit more of kind of like the intangibles to trading. Yeah, you need the strategy. Yeah, you need the technique. You need the risk management, right? You need the discipline. But sometimes we always talk about getting there. And we wanted to give you the perspective of, okay, what happens once it's there? Because a lot of times we're just preparing for the moment on when the moment comes. But what happens once that the anticipation finally happens, and then what? Right, like what's now what? And this is the part where I think a lot of people sometimes make the wrong decisions. It's just because you weren't prepared for it. So yeah, guys, y'all throw some, you know, give Ricky some love here. Ricky, I don't know if you want to drop your IG or
yeah, pay me in profit for sure. I'll drop it. Pay me in profit.
And so yeah, hope you guys took some knowledge. Someone who's been doing it for a super long time. Back in the day, we didn't even get into a lot, man. We needed a couple hours for this one, but
sure. It's been a minute.
But yeah, guys,
we'll do some more of these. We'll do some more of these, or they can probably catch some of my trades soon here, maybe.
That's what I'm about to say. So look, part of the reason why I had Ricky on, because I wanted y'all to get used to this name, to this face, because Ricky is coming out of the trade ideas retirement, and you know, he's ready to give you all some value. You guys have heard him say how important it is to serve and to, you know, take people with him. And so, you know, unofficially, Ricky's going to be sending out some beautiful ideas for y'all. And this is someone who is, I would say, the king of trade smart, not often. And precision is definitely synonymous with the GOAT, pay me in profit. So
soon on one of the apps that's sending, we're not going to say much, right? But there's an app and I am sending some trades, and if that's where God wants me to be, that's where we'll be. But obviously got to earn that spot. Can't just come in, talk, got to earn it. So in the process of earning it, but there is an app out there in the platform.
There's an app with trades,
with alerts
coming to a phone near you.
Just my mentality is I just need to find more ways to give to people who will never even know it's me. This is really it. You just got to give. When you want more, give more unexpectedly.
Exactly.
And that's why I also decided to be a part of all this, to give, give back. So let's
Thank you,
give.
bro. Thank you for being an example. And
Yo,
guys, if you
appreciate you for having me on the call.
y'all see this on
Always a
YouTube.
pleasure.
And we'll have it again, bro. This will be the first of many
Let's
sessions.
do it,
Guys.
bro.
Appreciate
Hey,
y'all.
much love, Mike. You're one of the GOATs, bro. I've been on your boot camp. I get on your goal lives till this day. It don't matter what type of money I've made. It don't matter how good I think I am or, how much I know, bro. Every day I'm up by 5, 6 on the charts. When your Go Live link turns on, I'm on that. I'm learning, studying all the time, taking your trades, trading with you.
Thank you, bro.
I never try to tell you anything. I never even try to add anything. I just intake, whatever you got, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna learn it. I appreciate you, bro, for everything that you do, sticking around, being here for years. You're a GOAT, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. And y'all guys, if y'all want this, I think he should have Go Live, but I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to do all that. But we need a little bit of that mindset with Ricky, right? We need those thoughts. Reflection with Ricky. I don't know. That sounds good to me though. But appreciate you, brother. And guys, stay coachable. If Ricky and myself are coachable, then you should too.